Hey everyone, this is Isaac here, and welcome back to Isaac Reviews 2022. My family went to New York over Thanksgiving, and it was a lot of fun. And now that I'm back, I saw Walt Disney Animation Studios' latest film, Strange World. After the unexpected smash hit that was Encanto, it was a bit hard to imagine something else living up to its insanely high standards. That, and Disney did a horrible job with marketing it, but then you realize one of the main characters in this movie is gay. Pretty sus, Disney. Let's get back on track now beyond the fact that this movie has their quote-unquote first gay character. Going off the trailers, while I knew it probably wouldn't be as good as Encanto, I was still interested in it thanks to how the titular Strange World looked as well as with the animation. Of course, we've seen Pixar implementing a more cloudy with a chance of meatballs-esque animation style with some of their more recent works, so to see Walt Disney Animation Studios going the extra mile and adopting this cartoony animation style with Strange World is good to see. Sure, I have seen some naysayers on the internet, but to me, animation deserves to look, well, animated, and I'm glad to see that more and more movies nowadays have been moving on from uncanny realism in favor of looking more expressive and stylized. Anyways, Strange World came out over Thanksgiving weekend in time to debut Disney's 100th anniversary logo, and it looks incredible. I saw it on Friday after my family got home from our trip to New York, and it was fine. So, since the movie's very poor marketing didn't reveal too much of the plot, I'll go ahead and explain it here, so there might be some spoilers ahead. But for the story, it centers around a guy named Searcher Clade, whose father Jaeger was a legendary explorer who went missing during one of his expeditions. During said expedition, Searcher discovers something called Pando, a high-voltage plant that later revolutionizes the city he lives in, Avalonia, by powering stuff and generally making people's lives more convenient. But one day, Avalonia's president, Callisto Mall, informs Searcher that the Pando supply is dying, and since he's an expert with that stuff, he joins her team on an expedition into a weird and uncharted land unlike anything they've ever seen. He also reunites with his father there, and the two spend the movie learning to reconnect with each other while also learning the secrets of the strange world and how not everything is what it seems there. I'll admit that there were definitely some good ideas presented here, since there was some solid world building with the strange world, and I really liked the twist that Avalonia is actually a living being and that Pando is destroying it, although I did kinda roll my eyes at the fact that Callisto was a twist villain for like 5 or 10 minutes, but it's just too bad that the characters aren't a whole lot of fun to be around. Their voice actors did a good job, sure, but the main three Clades weren't all that likable, especially Jaeger. Okay, maybe he's not as bad of an animated Disney parent as, say, Buck Cluck or Karen, but he's definitely up there. And why is that? Well, he abandoned his family and didn't feel sorry for doing so whatsoever, which is bad enough, but once Searcher finally reunites with him after 25 years, they spend most of the movie arguing, as do Searcher and his son Ethan, making a lot of their dynamic very unpleasant, especially as someone who's had plenty of family arguments in the past, mainly with my own dad. So is this to say the movie is bad like what most critics and alt-right grifters would have you believe? No, Disney's definitely made worse, and while this is one of WDAS's weakest films in recent memory, I'd watch it in a heartbeat over the likes of Ralph Breaks the Internet and Raya and the Last Dragon. One of the highlights that I already mentioned would be with the world building, and something that actually helps this out would be with the animation. I mean, sure, it's to be expected that the stuff WDS and Pixar makes will look stunning, but per their standards, the animation here looks great, especially with the strange world. The creature designs were very creative, and the backgrounds have a nice use of colors that kinda reminded me of Rainbow Sherbet ice cream, not to mention the character animation is very expressive and energetic while still knowing when to be down to earth. Well, I feel like I've already mentioned some of the other positives, such as the good world building, voice acting, and concepts, but I don't really know what else I should say here. So, in conclusion, Strange World was not a very good movie since the characters aren't very enjoyable to be around and a lot of the admittedly good concepts aren't executed all that well. But there was still some substance to keep it above some of Disney's worst output, such as the lovely animation, interesting world building, good voice acting, and exciting climax. If you're a fan of some of Disney's other science fantasy action adventure films, such as Treasure Planet and Atlantis the Lost Empire, you might get a little more substance out of this than I did, but for other Disney fans, this may not be too big of a priority to watch, but it wouldn't hurt to check it out once it's on Disney+. Although maybe it'd still be nice to give it some money considering how bad the marketing was, I don't know. All I know is that this movie was perfectly fine, and that's just about it. Join me next time when I review, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. I already hated the 2021 Disney Plus Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, so I'm already pretty sure that this sequel will also suck. Plus, somehow the animation quality looks even worse than it did before. At least I'll have Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio after it as a palate cleanser. Anyways, thanks for watching this episode of Isaac Reviews 2022. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!